What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the new Ice Cream Nails Holo Supreme Part 3 collection. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about Ice Cream Nails if you haven't heard of them before. They are an independent nail polish brand that is based in Australia, but they are available internationally, and all of their products are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients. They are cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals, and they're also plant-based and breathable. So I'm a big fan of Ice Cream Nails. Some of their polishes can be hit or miss, but when they came out with their first Holo Supreme collection, which was 10 linear holos, I fell in love with them. And then a little while later, they came out with a part 2. So then there were 20 polishes in the Holo Supreme collection. And honestly, those are still to this day some of my favorite holographic polishes that I own. So I was incredibly excited when they came out with part 3, which is what I'm reviewing today. And again, we've got 10 new polishes. So now bringing the total of the Holo Supremes to 30 linear holo polishes. And this color scheme I was really interested in because it's a little bit different. In the past, they've done sort of a rainbow, but now we're really in this like orange, pink, purple, blue, green territory. And I think these colors are so stunning, and I think they really add to the line of polishes really well. And I also found that some of them were a little bit different. So let me show you the swatches and then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them and then also the pricing and availability. So yeah, let's just roll the swatch footage. So as always, I'm using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. So we'll start off with this shade Life on Mars. It's sort of a reddish orange linear holo polish, and as you can see from first swipe, I was pretty impressed with the opacity. I did still need 2 coats to give me that full coverage, but it did cover up my visible nail line in the first. And this is a shade that is super holographic. So you can see, in addition to the regular linear holo that is throughout the polish, we also have a slightly larger holo sparkle in there that kind of gives it a more faceted look. And I think that's something that must be new for this version 3 of the Holo Supreme polishes, because I was so blown away by these and how sparkly and holographic they were. I know in my red holo comparison video, a few of you were looking for a more orangey leaning red holo, and I think this is the perfect polish for that. Speaking of red holos, we've got another one. This one is called Holo Cherry, but this one is a little bit different because it's definitely more on the pinky side of red. And again, we have that gorgeous linear holo running throughout, as well as what seems to be a slightly larger scattered holo fleck. And again, it just adds this really multi-dimensional faceted look. So even in less holographic situations, you can still see that holo sparkle shining through. And I noticed with some of these, it was actually more prominent than the linear holo. So they almost looked like scattered holo polishes on the nail. And this was one of them. I thought it was really pretty, but it definitely gave me more of a scattered holo vibe. And also this one was again super opaque. Moving on, we have the shade Holo Deluxe, which in the bottle I actually thought was going to be a purple linear holo, but once I applied it on my nails, I definitely saw a lot more of that pinky fuchsia coloring. So if it's a purple, it's an incredibly warm toned purple. It definitely has that pinky warmth to it. Again, very impressive opacity, but I did need 2 coats for full coverage. And again, we did have that linear holo sparkle as well as slightly larger flecks. And you can see even while I'm applying it, and holographic polish tends to look more holographic once it's dry, but even while I was applying this one, you could just see so much sparkle coming out of it. With deeper holos, I always find that they just look super rainbowy on the nails, and this one is no exception. It is absolutely stunning. Next up, we have the shade Pink Diamond, which is actually a purple despite the name, and this is actually what I'm wearing on my nails in the intro and outro, and again, just absolutely in love with this one. It's a very pinky toned purple, and it was a little bit more sheer in the first coat, but I did end up getting full coverage in 2. Again, we've got that linear holo as well as that slightly larger holo fleck, and I think overall the holographic pigment in these might be a little bit larger than usual. I noticed that in my regular direct lighting, a lot of them looked more scattered, but then in the sun they looked a little bit more linear. So definitely stay tuned. I do these what I wore on my nails short videos, and you will see this in that very soon, so stay tuned for that if you want to see it in the sun. Next up, we have the shade All About Holo, and this one is a really interesting interesting shade. I feel like it sits somewhere between a blue and a purple, but it's a little too light to be an indigo and it's a little bit too dark to be a periwinkle. So I thought it was actually just a really unique shade. It reminds me a little bit of denim. And again, we've got that linear holo and then a slightly larger sparkle in there. And again, this one I thought was a little bit sheer on the first coat, but I ended up getting full coverage in the second. And it is just so holographic. These deeper shades just look so rainbowy and gorgeous, and they really catch the light even when you're not in a direct lighting situation. Sometimes these deeper holos just shine so rainbowy anyway, and I absolutely love that. Moving on, we have double the holo, and let me tell you, I was impressed with all of these, but this shade in particular absolutely blew me away. It is this deep navy linear holo. Again, we've got that slightly larger sparkle in there, but this one was a one coater on me. I ended up doing 2 coats just to show you what that looked like, but it gave me full opacity in one coat, and I would wear this as a one coat manicure. That is how much coverage it gave me, and it is so gorgeous. I think that the holographic sparkle in there almost looked very cosmic, like a night sky, especially paired with that very deep base, and it is just so beautiful. Can't get enough of this one. Next up, we have the shade Holomania. Again, a shade that I am struggling to place in a category if it's blue or if it's purple, but I guess this one is more of a periwinkle kind of shade. It's a little bit lighter, again, a little bit sheer on that first coat, but I did get full coverage in the second. And again, we have that gorgeous holo sparkle in there, but this one I actually noticed seemed to be more scattered than linear. It actually reminds me a lot of the look of A. England polishes, which tend to have a more scattered look on them. So I really liked this one, and if you're looking for that more scattered look, I think this is a perfect shade for that. And then we have what I would consider to be the outlier of this collection. It's called Sea Maiden, and I think it's the outlier because it is a lot lighter than the other shades, and the formula here is slightly different. So we almost have this jelly-like base in this soft baby blue kind of color that actually leans a little bit into turquoise but isn't quite there. And then within that, we've got a silver holo shimmer. So it's a little bit more subtle, and I did notice in 2 coats, it didn't fully cover up my nail and give me that full opacity because of that jelly-like formula. So I did end up needing a third. I do think this is a really stunning one, and I think it's a unique shade just because of that jelly formula, and also these lighter shades are a little bit harder to find in a holographic formula, so I really liked it anyway. And then we've got the shade Holiday Vibes, and this is definitely back to that holographic formula. This one is more of a turquoisey green kind of shade, and again, this one to me leaned a little bit more into that scattered holo vibe. And again, the way that the polish looked once it applied on my nails reminded me a lot of A. England, so it definitely has a similar vibe to it, even though the application feels different. I would say these are a little bit thinner, but both brands are obviously incredible. I don't prefer one over the other. I really enjoy both, but yeah, this one looked stunning in 2 coats. And last but definitely not least, we have the shade Keep Off the Grass, which is a chartreuse green linear holo. And oh my gosh, when I tell you how upset I was when I got this polish right after I did my video on my favorite ugly nail polishes, because oh my gosh, this is an instant favorite for me. I love this type of green that's like this yellowy lime chartreuse kind of color, and I am so impressed with how holographic this one ended up being. I think that this is an instant favorite. I want to wear it all the time. It feels so perfectly springy and even summery for me, and I am so excited to have it, but I'm so sad I couldn't include it in my ugly favorites. So here are all the shades together, and I have to say, I love this color story. I feel like this is all of the shades that I find myself going towards the most. So in that top row, we've got the reddish orange shades into the purple. In that middle row, we have a few similar shades, but mostly in that blue, blurple, indigo territory. And then in the bottom row, we've got the teal, the turquoisey, and then that gorgeous chartreuse. So I love all of these shades together. Some of them leaned a little bit more scattered than linear for me, but honestly, I actually do prefer a scattered holo finish, although I absolutely love the Holo Supreme polishes for their linear finish. I would love to see this line of polishes continue to evolve and go into more scattered finishes as well, so I was really excited to see the variety here. So yeah, those are the polishes, and honestly, I am absolutely in love with them. I really appreciated this color story. I feel like this is like my exact ideal color story. I love love the formulas. I just cannot get over the Ice Cream Nails Holo formula. I think it's incredible. It's so smooth and buttery and easy to apply, and I think that the colors are just so holographic. I'm wearing one of them right now, and honestly, I could not stop looking at my nails last night. I was just like, these are stunning in every lighting. So yeah, honestly, I recommend every single Holo Supreme polish they have made. I think every one of them is gorgeous and applies really nicely. So if you are in the market for a good linear holo polish, Ice Cream Nails is the place for you. But I was also really intrigued to see that some of these had a little bit larger of a particle and almost gave a little bit of a scattered effect. I would love to see them continue this line and maybe start to add a little bit more scattered finishes, because they just have a really good handle on how to make holo. But yeah, so these polishes come in 10 milliliter bottles. They are the little ice cream cone shaped bottles, and they have the cone shaped cap, but it is still very easy to apply with them, don't worry. They do have a nice medium wide flat brush, so I think application is really easy, and I think it's a really nice happy medium between the round skinny brush and the wide flat brush, so I think everybody will enjoy this brush. They retail on the Ice Cream Nails website for $13.50 USD, but I do have a discount code. You can use the code KELLI20 and you can get 20% off your entire order there. So I will link all of that down in the description. You can check that out if you're interested. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Have you owned any of the previous Holo Supreme polishes? What do you think of them? What do you think of these new shades? Which is your favorite? Leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. I also have a second YouTube channel, my vlog channel, which is just a little bit more about my life outside of nail polish. But I am, at the time this video goes live, I will be working on a fun video for that channel that is somewhat nail polish related. So maybe check that out if you're interested, and subscribe if you don't want to miss it. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Rocket Man's daughter, Paula, Ken, Rosie, and Courtney. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Amanda, and Amanda wants to know, if you could go back in time and relive a single day, which day would you choose? This is a tough question. I feel like it's always the simplest days that bring me the most joy. Definitely pre-2020, just kind of like running around and doing silly things days. Those are memories that I very much cherish. When Ryan and I first came to Vegas to visit and, you know, see what we thought of it and see if we wanted to live here, I feel like we had a lot of fun doing that, and we were kind of just like running up and down the strip and just having a good time. And I don't know, I think that was really fun. But at the same time, we do that like almost every weekend now. It was just really nice weather when we first went, but now that the weather is warming up, we're probably just gonna keep on doing that. So I will basically be reliving those days, which is very fun. I don't know, it's hard because I feel like I just like enjoy the days as they happen, which I'm very fortunate about. I find myself very lucky that I have that sort of mindset. So yeah, I don't know. Every day is kind of an adventure. All right, that's it. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.